Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and thank you for calling me in this pre-recess adjournment debate. And it's a pleasure to follow the Honourable Lady for Walsall South, who raised a number of very, very local issues, and we particularly enjoyed all her impersonations as well. She may get some extra bookings after that. For tabloid readers, Mr Deputy Speaker, we're about to head off onto a sun-kissed exotic beach for 7 weeks. But back in the real world of being a local MP representing the area my family and friends live in, I'm looking forward to a busy, energetic summer, which will include my annual volunteering week. I'll be supporting local businesses who are expanding, providing new jobs and apprenticeships. I'm doing lots of charity runs and charity bike rides, following on from the Tour de France, which came through my constituency a couple of weeks ago. I'll be holding lots of advice surgeries, but I will just be squeezing in a 1-week break to recharge my batteries. Mr Deputy Speaker, though, I do want to focus in the next 7 minutes on by far and away the biggest local issue in my beautiful part of West Yorkshire, and that's planning. The picturesque Colne and Home Valleys and Lindley are under threat from Labour-run Kirklees Council, who are hell-bent on supporting unsustainable house building. They are riding roughshod over local communities who are already struggling with infrastructure at breaking point. We, and yes, I say we, because I live in the lovely village of Honley, are desperate to preserve what's left of our green countryside in an already congested part of Yorkshire. Fair play, though, to Labour-run Kirklees. They're upfront about it. They want to build houses, they want to build lots of them, and they want to build them on green fields. And even Labour's local election candidates are honest enough to put it on the front of their election leaflets, and I praise them for their honesty. Tomorrow night, though, Mr Deputy Speaker, I'll be joining Lindley community campaigners at Birchencliffe Cricket Club for the Save Grimescar Valley campaign meeting. We're fighting plans to turn a lovely picturesque green strip of countryside which separates Kirklees from Calderdale into housing and industrial units. Thornhill Developments are applying for planning permission for 200 dwellings on provisional open land in Grimescar Valley, and in doing so resuscitating the Kirklees Gateway project. Now, the Kirklees Gateway project comprises of 260 hectares, that's 650 acres, Mr Deputy Speaker, of commercial and residential development, with plans, although no new nursery places for a school, a care home and an eco-centre. But Lindley, though, this is the area, Mr Deputy Speaker, is already scarred by a similar controversial plan which was passed 3 years ago for 287 houses on Lindley Moor, and a narrow 8-7 vote on the planning committee, with the casting vote by a Liberal Democrat councillor, saw the scheme go ahead. Now, the threat to Grimescar Valley is the latest in a series of applications on provisional open land, which was designated in the old unitary development plan for Kirklees, which is now decades old. Local wishes are being brushed aside. Labour-run Kirklees don't have a local plan. They withdrew their original flawed plan in October 2013, and we wait for a new one to be started again. Now, this means we've got a developer's free-for-all. The old unitary development plan means land designated as provisional open land is up for grabs. And as well as Grimescar Valley, there are developments going ahead or being planned in Netherthong, Upper Thong, Meltham, Slathwaite, Golka, and many more of my Yorkshire communities. I've already brought down the Chief Executive of Kirklees Council and some of my local councillors to meet the previous planning minister, and I look forward to discussing these pressing planning issues with the new planning minister. But we do need a whole new radical approach to local developments. Confidence in local democracy and the Kirklees Planning Committee is at rock bottom. We need transparency on the Kirklees Planning Committee. Want to have it streamed live and have the votes being recorded. Councillors need to be held to account for their votes. I'm fed up of having local councillors saying that they want to protect our green spaces and then getting into bed with the local Labour group and voting for unsustainable developments. Yes, We need a brownfield first policy. Why is the Thurston Mills area cleared? It's a cleared brownfield site. It's still empty. It's got planning permission. It's in my village of Honley. Why not build there instead of going ahead on a greenfield site? Why is the Royd Edge Dye Works site being cleared? Lots of expense in clearing it, but it's still empty with planning permission ready to go ahead. And why are affordable homes, which have been built in new developments across my patch, still empty? Now, work is being done to bring thousands of empty properties, empty homes, back into use. And I praise the government for introducing new council tax powers to encourage owners to actually either do up these properties, bring them back into use, let them out or sell them. And there's also been grants to local councils, including the Future Home Builders Plan, where young and employed people have learnt skills such as carpentry, learning to be electrician and plumbing on these properties, and then they're brought back onto the market as affordable homes. Those are the kind of schemes we should be promoting and encouraging to bring these empty properties in our communities back into use. They're sustainable because people who live there don't need 2 cars. They can walk to local shops and local schools. So let's regenerate our town centres. And why not look at folk living above vacant shops to stimulate those communities and have people living in them 24 hours a day? And with my award-winning Huddersfield University investing millions of pounds into new quality student accommodation, that will then release thousands of properties formerly used by students. But they will need some investment there. So let's just stop doing the easy thing and the cheapest thing for developers. Let's get smart and let's protect our beautiful green countryside in West Yorkshire. Mr Deputy Speaker, the battle to save Grimescar Valley begins in earnest tomorrow evening. I'm up for the fight, and so are hundreds, nay thousands of local folk who really love where we live. I'd like to wish all honourable members a very, very happy summer, as well as all working hard. I hope we all do get a chance to recharge our batteries. I'd like to thank all the wonderful staff here in the House of Commons, and I'd like to pick out Betty in particular, down in the Terrace Cafe, who always has a smile and a lovely word to say to my children when they visit during the summer as well. I'd also like to congratulate, in a few weeks' time, my honourable friend for Kingswood, who will become a father in just 3 weeks' time. So he'll have a very, very busy summer indeed. And to you, Mr Deputy Speaker, have a lovely summer. We look forward to seeing you again in September. Thank you.